When you start working with organic objects in Blender, you'll probably want to learn about proportional editing. And this allows us to edit a little bit more softly than just selecting individual vertices. Let me show you what I mean. I have this character's head. I'm going to right click on it to select, hit Tab to go into edit mode. Now let's go ahead and just select one vertex at the tip of his nose. Let's reshape his nose. Now, if I start moving this, you'll see that I get this really sharp edge here. I don't have any sort of fall off. And even if I were to select multiple vertices, if I hit Control plus to do a select more, you'll see that I'm still getting sharp edges wherever I move those vertices. And this is really an inefficient way to edit these sorts of objects. I mean, I could conceivably edit them by selecting alternating rows of vertices, but proportional editing will make this a lot easier. Now we can get to this in several different places. If we go into the Mesh menu, you'll see we have a proportional editing menu option, and we can go Disable, Enable, or Connected. And Connected is for if you have multiple discrete objects in the scene. And then Fall Off is how does proportional editing work. Now, this is probably the least desirable place to get to it because we actually have a button that enables it right here at the bottom of the viewport. Now, all we have to do is just click on this and hit Enable, and notice how a second button comes up to set our fall off. Now, the hotkey for this is the letter O. So if I hit the letter O, you can see how that toggles it on and off. Now, if I leave it on, you can see how when I start moving those vertices, I already get this kind of nice proportional fall off. So I'm not getting those hard edges anymore. Now this may be enough to edit however you want, but we can actually further modify it by changing the actual fall off. And we do this by hitting the G key, which is basically the grab key. And when I hit G, what happens is this little circle comes up. Now I can scroll my middle mouse wheel to size this up and down, or I can hit page up and page down on the keyboard to do the same thing. And once I have this, all I have to do is move the mouse. I don't have to click. So by moving the mouse and scaling that up, you can see how I can actually affect a much wider or narrower area. Now, if I right click on this, it cancels. If I hit G again, move it, and left click, it solidifies. So let's try this again one more time at the top of the character's head. In fact, this works for not just vertices, but for faces and edges as well. So let's go ahead and select some faces. I'm going to go into face edit mode here and just right click and shift right click a few of these vertices towards the top of his head. And now if I start moving those, you can see how I already have proportional editing on. It doesn't go off when I change modes. And if I hit the G key, I can scale that up and really start to affect how his head works. Now, if I want to, I can also hit scale and scale that up or down as well. And I can also rotate it. So it really works with any sort of operation. And if I hit Tab to get out of it, you can see how I've actually modified that just a little bit. Go ahead and start playing with these tools, play with the different fall-offs. You'll get the hang of it fairly quickly, and this can be very instrumental in making nice, smooth, organic models.